I am so excited today. We have Shannon, the queen of financials. We actually met at Girlfriends in Business, and I went up to you as you were talking to Chris Harder because I don't know, there was something about your energy. I was like, I have to get in on this conversation with her. And instantly we connected over clothing. When I told you I was a stylist, you talked about your own stylist and giving me like awesome ideas I would have never thought about, like a QR code for my clients to share.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll talk more about that later, but your mind is so creative and I love it. So I was blown away and I had to have you on the podcast because I am not that great at financials. And I know that you can help everybody listening, including myself, learn more about what you do. I will give a short, I'm going to give a short bio about you. So Shannon Weinstein is a fractional CFO for growth-minded business owners, a CPA, and a teacher at heart. Her real talk and relatable examples simplify the financial side of business so that business owners like you can stop stressing and start scaling. I love this, and I've been binging on Keep What You Earn podcast, and I'm loving everything you share. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the intro. I love it.
This podcast, it is called The Closet Edit, but as I work with people, it really is about making big transitions in your life and changes. So to start, I would like for you to share how you became the fractional CFO that you are today.
It all started with losing a bet to my dad in high school and having to major in accounting because I took an accounting class and he told me that if I hate it, he wouldn't bug me again about becoming an accountant like him. But if I loved it, I had to major in it. So, cut to, I majored in accounting, I got my CPA license and worked for the big companies, worked for the big four, Fortune 50 companies, traveled the country, traveled the world, and was still unfulfilled. I did all the things that you would think is aspirational for someone in their 20s. And then I realized I just want to help small business owners and make a real impact. I'm tired of serving corporate bottom lines and working so hard towards something that most investors will just throw in the trash when they get it in the mail. So I just said, you know what? I'm done. I want to go actually serve the small business owners and make a real impact. And I started my company in 2019.
Oh my goodness, that's a great story. And I do have to ask, I am very intrigued by what you do. What is a fractional CFO and how is that different from an accountant that helps you with like actually doing the taxes and filing it?
Yeah, that's a great question. Fractional CFO is and by the way, CFO is the chief financial officer in a business. So you got your CEO, your COO, your CFO, all of the C suite. And what a CFO does really is drive strategic vision using the numbers as a tool. And what we do is we help business owners make decisions out of their data, whereas, say, a bookkeeper or a tax preparer helps you get the data. So there's basically the compilation of the data and the information to give to you. Think of it like a doctor when they give you their blood work, when you get your blood work done and they say, here are all the numbers. And it's like, great, thank you. Their job is done. The lab assistant. Now you have to take it to a physician or take it to somebody else and say, what the hell does this say? What do I do with this information? Am I going to die? Do I have a disease? What am I doing wrong? So, like all the questions that pop up when you get information, that is the person you go to with those questions typically. Now, can a tax pro and a bookkeeper answer these questions? Sometimes, yes, but usually their services are purely that of getting you the data that you need.
That is really important information. As somebody like myself who is not great with numbers, I always do like to ask questions and understand things. And I think when it comes to this, I don't do enough of that. I'm sure a lot of people do that. We are in a world where we want things to be easy. So we just kind of hand things off without actually looking through things ourselves too. So that's an important thing to have on our team, I think. So your brand is Keep What You Earn. That is your
Yep.
podcast as well. You have scaled so much, I feel, in the short time. Like, I think it's been a span of like a few years where you have really scaled very quickly. How do you continue supporting your clients? Do you work with a group of people? Do you do one-on-one? How do you, or do you have team members that you have trained to help others? How do you work with people?
So we at the core, fundamentally, is one core service, which is fractional CFO, and we do it for a small group of clients. I always used to serve a ton of clients doing one thing. So it would be like doing the bookkeeping for 300 clients or something like that. And it would be like, okay, I'm just doing bookkeeping on repeat and I'm losing touch with who the hell these people are. I'm very task oriented and forgetting what client I'm working on because I have so many and I'm juggling so many balls. So what I ended up doing was when I started my own company, I decided to do more people as opposed to the other way around. And I said, I'm going to do everything for the business owners that we work with, but we're going to be embedded in their team. We're going to have depth as opposed to width. And we're going to be working alongside of them as a trusted advisor, someone they can call, Slack, text, whenever they need to talk through a decision in their business, because there's not enough of those people available to business owners. And so that's a big part of it. Now, in terms of my actual operations, I have a team. We're about 5 employees right now and growing. And we have myself, and I have a director of financial strategy who also helps me with client work. So she's doing some of the detailed bookkeeping and the initial analysis, and she and I will brainstorm on clients. So you're actually getting multiple brains in a room talking about you behind your back. Just kidding. The key thing
But
is that you
kidding,
have
not
all these.
kidding.
Yeah, kidding, but not kidding. We're all talking about how we can help you. We're all talking about, hey, imagine if you had a room of people with a whiteboard all about your business and they were like, what can we come up with for Tanya? What can we come up with for so and so? And say, okay, this is the best idea we have. This is how we can increase revenue. This is what we need to be focusing on this quarter. And you're in those rooms with us, but we also meet every so often with them and share these ideas, keep people accountable. That's a big part of it, is that executive accountability to our owners and founders and saying, hey, remember when you said your goal was this? Well, you just came to me and said you want to invest in something over here. Is that going to serve that goal or not? And let's be really objective about, is this the right time for that investment? Let's talk about it. Or can I hire somebody? Can I afford to fire somebody? Whatever decision's coming up in your business and you're not sure from a cash perspective if you can handle it, that's what we help with. So when it comes to actually working with our team, it's mostly me and my director of financial strategy. And then we also have a team in the operations side as well that help me support the business.
Oh my goodness. To be able to have almost, just to put it in terms that people could understand, like almost like a coach on your side, helping you make those big decisions of investments and how to like spend your money too. That's such an important element for anybody to have. I think you said that you primarily work with business owners, but what kind of business people do you work with, and when should someone come and work with you?
So I would recommend, if you're running a business and you're looking to grow, but you feel like you've hit a plateau or you feel like
Mm.
everything I'm doing is kind of working, I've proven an offer, but I'm just not where I want to be. And I'm not sure how to get into that next level and break through that next barrier into the next scale of my business. That's definitely when you have that itch. I feel like that's a lot of the folks that we work with. Also, if you're feeling like you have data, but you haven't turned it into decisions, you have all the information, you have a QuickBooks, you have bookkeeping, you have your financials, but you're like, how do I actually use this? So how do I turn this into something that's usable? How should I even be reading my financials? How do I interpret what I'm reading? We actually help with that too. So from an education standpoint, we can help you understand, here's what the numbers are trying to tell you. Um, but I would say that most of our founders are growth minded. They're curious. They're coachable. They are, and they have a proven offer. And most of all, they are lifelong learners and open minded. And we try to meet them where they're at. So if you have any hesitation around numbers, if you're wondering, like, I don't even know if I need this person yet, we actually do the monthly services, but we also do like single sessions as well to do a deeper dive and like sit down and strategize, let's say goal setting for the new year or doing a cash flow forecast to figure out, hey, um, can I afford you? Or can I afford some support in my business where I need it? We can answer those spot questions in deep dive strategy sessions as well, because it's our whole mission of the company too is that financial tools should be a source of inspiration and not intimidation. You should be
Mhm.
using those numbers to empower you, not to basically deflate you or make you feel crappy. The whole point is that you should be listening to what they're telling you and the song they're playing and then react accordingly if they're giving you a warning that something's about to happen. But if you don't know how to listen to it or you can't hear it, then you're operating with that, and it's our job to kind of call attention to it.
I think that's so important because when we are so used to doing things our own way. We get very comfortable. Even when we know, I think that awareness of knowing you want to get to the next level and find how to do it is awesome. And there's so many people to help. But in this place, I think that people don't know what is available to them.
Yeah.
With your, so it sounds like you still do some one-on-one and you do your program. How many people do you allow in your program? And is it seasonal or how does that work?
So we have, so there's actually, so the three options to work with us are the monthly, which we only take 12 clients, and there's a reason,
Oh my gosh.
because we believe that the more clients we have, the more diverted attention we have. And until I hire more team members, that's our capacity right now. But I stand firm on that because I think that we start to lose value. If we bring on more clients and we try to stretch ourselves too thin, we want to be able to respond to everything within 24 hours. Like that's the whole point, is that we are available. So in order to maintain that level of service, we cap it at about 12 clients total. We are not there yet, but we will get there at a given point in time. And then we'll have openings and so on. My goal is actually to get people to grow to a point where they no longer need me or we help them through their exit plan or whatever that may be. But and then the other option is either a single session, or we actually have this program if you're an early stage business owner called CFO On Demand. And it's actually a low cost monthly membership type structure where you get access to me and my team for those one off questions. I call it the brain picking. the
Yep.
Okay, can I pick your brain? Yes. And we have a structure for that. We do monthly calls. You can actually, if you're a VIP member, you can schedule one-on-ones with me for 20-minute spot calls just to be like, hey, I want to run an idea past you. Or, hey, I want to pull up my financial statements. What do you see here? Or any particular decision or challenge that you're coming across, you can just, what do I call it? Like rub the rub the lamp and the genie appears. The whole goal of that offer was to provide it to be more accessible because I realized that not everyone can afford a fractional CFO, but there are a lot of people who need the perspective that we offer and a lot of people that need the help to get to that point, to make their first million, to grow and scale. And it's not fair that a resource like us they're only accessible to people who are already there. So we said, you know what? We have to have an accessible offer that's going to help people get there. And that's what we've done with the on-demand offer.
And that's how you help people get to that place where they can do the one-on-one later on with you. So that's
Exactly.
awesome.
That's our goal, is to get you into seven figures where we can become part of the team if you'd like us. But that's the point, is that you have that choice at that point.
Can you share a couple tips on how people can save money on their business taxes that usually aren't doing it?
Yeah. So for one thing, I do cover taxes in my offer. We do tax strategy with clients. We love tax minimization. But I'm gonna preface my answer with this, and that is, don't always focus on tax minimization,
Mm.
because when you minimize taxes, you also lose purchasing power. So before we get into any strategy with a client, including listeners right now, and you can add every disclaimer in the book that this is not individual tax advice and you seek the advice of a professional before doing anything. But I would say there are definite tax strategies I'll share with you, but a key factor in those is it worth it for you? And will you sacrifice your other goals in the name of minimizing taxes? For example, if you'd like to purchase a home in the next 2 years, but you need to drastically lower your income so that you pay less taxes, you may not qualify for the loan that you want to get in a couple of years. So you may be sacrificing your dream home in the name of saving money this year. So there's always going to be some type of trade-off. So you have to just be really clear on your priorities before you embark on any tax strategies. Just like with any health journey or financial journey, it's, hey, what's the give and take of this? What's the cost of it? So that being said, if we're looking at tax minimization, ultimately what you have to do is create more opportunities to connect what you're spending to a business purpose. So if you have a home office, if you have certain equipment, certain electronics that are partial business use, you should be at least deducting a portion of those. There are other opportunities too, like forming yourself as an S corporation, which is advantageous for most business owners who are making over $50,000 in profit. You should be talking to your accountant, your tax pro, about, hey, what are the ways I can minimize my taxes? But doing that before the end of the year, and ideally before the summer. That's when you can really make a difference and have time to enact it. If you were to call a personal trainer and say, hey, my honeymoon's next week and I want to look great, what can you do for me? You're kind of limiting their options there. And probably health codes of some kind. So think about that with your money too, that if you're coming in December and you're saying, hey, how can I lower my taxes? it's the very same thing as going to your, nutritionist or trainer the week before your trip and saying, I want to look great in my bikini and lose 20 pounds. It's like, okay, well, we don't have a ton of time, but we can do a couple of things to help you, but we may not just have a huge impact with that. So the best thing to do is start habits year round to make sure your books are up to date, make sure you're reading your financial information, and make sure that you're interacting with your tax advisor throughout the year and keeping them updated on what you're doing so that they know how to advise you.
That is such a good point to share with people. People do that to me all the time. I have a wedding next weekend. Can you help me shop? I'm like, I am booked all week. I am so sorry. I could send you a couple suggestions on things I'm thinking, but they're not going to be
It's
as
gonna be
personalized.
lackluster. It's gonna be an afterthought. It's gonna be cutting some corners, and you don't want
Yeah.
that type of value or type of quality. And it's very similar to what you and I do in the sense of, it's an investment, but
Mhm.
it's all in how you show up. It's all in how you can execute the vision, and how well you have a clear vision of what you want is going to drive how well I can do my job. Because if you're giving me a shot in the dark or giving me superficial goals, then I won't really know how to really pinpoint the most valuable service for you or what I can do for you. Which gets into like goal setting and things like that. If I say, what's your goal? And they say, let's just say like a goal for you, right, would be, I want to look good. It's like, what does that mean? So, right. And for me, it's, I want to
Yeah.
make, let's just say, what's your goal? And they say $2 million in revenue. And I go, cool. Why? And I'm sure
Mhm.
you ask your clients this too. Why do you want to do that? And usually that's the toughest question. It's like,
Mhm.
well, why? And then my clients go, well, because I made 1.7 last year and I feel like I can cross 2 this year. Okay. Well, but why do you want it? I don't know. I just feel like I should. And I go, okay, fair. But what will that extra $300,000 get you? What does that mean to you? I haven't really thought about that. Well, I say, okay, well then let me ask you this. What would you like to be different about your life in a year? Oh, I really want to be able to pick up my daughter from school every day. Okay, cool. So how about instead of a $300,000 revenue increase, we cut your time by 5 hours a week? Oh, okay. That's a different goal. But I go, but wouldn't that mean more to you? Working 5 hours less a week rather than 300K? What would you rather have? And it really kind of throws a shift on the overall question of what do you really want out of your business and how can we help you get there? And it's not just about maximizing the money. It's about, well, what are your actual goals? And then quantifying how do we get there?
Are you not getting the results that you want from shopping? It's time to shop with a plan and get ideas on how to take a new direction towards how you want to look and feel. Join me every month for a shopping and style coaching session to help you shop with success. Build the wardrobe that you desire at your pace and on your budget. In this monthly membership that I like to call the TCE Insiders, you get to shop from style boards that I personally put together based on what clients have loved and purchased the past month. You get both budget-friendly options and luxury-like options to help you fill in the gaps of your wardrobe. You also get to explore new stores, new styles and colors to try because it is easy to get caught up and buying the same thing over and over again. And I want you to see new results with what you're buying. You get to shop at your own pace. There isn't a rush to get new items. You can just shop for what you like or what you want to try from the shopping boards and then use a group coaching to get feedback on what to keep or return. You also get access to the TCE Insider community. Get feedback on your purchases. Share the outfits you're putting together. Finally, start building the wardrobe that truly fits you. If you are a past client and you want to keep your wardrobe up to date and continue getting support by working together, this monthly membership will help you stay in touch with me and in touch with the style that you're trying to achieve. If you're a new client and want to begin shopping with intention and build new outfits to fit your life and your body, you'll get to start your journey on finding what works for you and create a plan of action. Get started today and let's begin working together. You can go to myclosetedit.com/TCE Insider. That's myclosetedit.com/TCE Insider to get started. You can also go to the link below, go to the show notes, click on that link, and you can get access right away to on-demand styling videos that share with you how to tuck in your shirt, how to tie a trench coat. You'll also get the Zoom link so that we can get started on that call together. I cannot wait to see you there. And I love that you dive in deep with clients. I mean, in the work that we do, we have to, because people come to us thinking it's one thing. They think it's money or fashion or style, and
Superficial.
it ends up being three other things that are under that, and we help them achieve those other deeper goals that they have for their life. So getting clear for them, which they don't know, sometimes it takes a little bit, but that's such an important part of the process.
Totally agree.
When you work with businesses, I know it can also be somewhat general, but what do you find tends to be great investments for people?
I always look at the investments people make, or if they come to me, it sounds so funny because it's almost like asking your mom for money to go do something, but they're like, hey, do I have enough money to go? I'm like, do you have enough money? Yes. You can look at your bank account and like, do you have it? Can I afford this? What they're really asking is, if I do this, what will happen?
Mm,
And that's what I try to reframe it as. It's like, if I say yes to this, what do I have to say no to?
mm-hmm.
That's what I train people to ask me. If I say yes to this, what does it mean? I say, okay, saying yes to that means a no to the extra trip this year, possibly. And I don't have the scarcity mindset of either or. Yes, you can have both, but I like to give perspective on the value of things, to say you're spending the same amount as this over here, to give perspective on how much it is or what it's worth to you. So you can kind of go, what would I rather spend money on? But also looking at return on these investments, which we've all talked about before. Like, what is the return on it? What are you getting for that money? And I'm always a fan of anything, investing in anything where there is a clear path to growth and reproducing more money. I've been judged before because I have paid to be on podcasts. I have paid a large sum of money to be on people's podcasts. And the cool thing is, I know that once I go on a podcast, I'll be able to add value. I'll be able to tell stories. I'll be able to, to show up and talk about my services. Right. And then I say, well, I know that I'll get a possible client out of that, and I'll connect with my ideal client better via this medium. And it's worth an investment to me. But other CPAs, other CFOs will be like, I can't believe you spend that much money to get media. And I go, well, it works because it's a machine that works well for me. And for some people, it's Facebook ads. For some people, it's going to networking events, showing up in masterminds, going to events. And when you invest in those things, which might seem like, oh, it's just for fun, like girlfriends in business. Some people would say, oh, that's a waste of money. I'm like, it's absolutely not. I walked away meeting like 5, 10, 15 new women that I connected with, and who knows what that could turn into. But I think it's all about what you do with that and how you invest it intentionally, and that if it is moving you toward or away from particular goals in your business. So if you're in a season of, I want to grow, I want to get new clients, I want to expand, then going to networking events is 100% in alignment with that. But if you're really kind of conserving cash and you're at capacity and you really need to be focusing on your own operations, you're better off investing in your own team, getting them training that they need, or helping them with resources that will create efficiency. So you've got to just remain focused on what it is that you're working on right now and what's going to best serve your business in the long term. And it's not always a question of yes or no investing in something. It's usually a question of now or later.
It's very interesting that you brought up that when we do invest in ourselves, it's almost like we're trying to ask somebody for permission to do it,
Yeah.
which I have been able to go to girlfriends in business or something like that for a few years, but I'd make excuses of why I'm not going to invest in it. And after doing it, I even signed up for the dinner series. I'm like, well, why not? It was such a great experience. It's everything and more than I thought it would be. So
Right.
I'd love to hear briefly too, because you've been in a mastermind. I honestly haven't been on a big scale mastermind like the one that you've been on. And I'd love to know what has been your biggest takeaway from working with Chris.
I would say my biggest take, I mean, there's a few really core isms that I walked away with that were fundamental beliefs of his that he constantly shares that I've adopted. One is you get what you ask for. So always being willing to ask for what you want. Um, and I would say this, that it's partially Chris, but it's also what I've learned in being in multiple masterminds to get the most value out of a mastermind. And that is, it's not promoting yourself. It's not being loud. It's not being boisterous or like trying to add value every 10 seconds. I mean, by all means, do that if you want to be known, but it's actually going in with an intention. I say going into a mastermind is like walking into Target. the store Target, and without a
Mhm.
shopping list. And you can end up in there for 2 hours, walk out spending a butt ton of money, having no aim, like being completely aimless and just reacting to what you see. Or you can walk in with a list and go, I came here to pick up this, this, and this, and I know what aisles to go to. And I know I'm going to go to these 3 aisles and I'm going to get the F out of here. Maybe I'll stop at Starbucks, but like, I'm going to get out of here. And the reason I use that analogy is because when you go into a mastermind, it's very tempting to listen to what everyone else is doing and like, oh my God, I want to start a podcast. I want to go start a blog. I want to go do this. I'm going to start on YouTube. And it's like, okay, hold the phone, time out. What works for you? What should you be focusing on instead of all the fun, crazy, shiny objects that you're seeing? It's going in and saying, I'm going to leave this mastermind with this in my tool belt. This is the souvenir I want to walk out with. I can get some other stuff along the way by all means, but this is what I need to go pick up while I'm here to make sure it's worthwhile. And for me, that was going into their mastermind and saying, the first time I said, I'm going to really refine my menu and offers and prices. Like I'm going to have that rock solid when I come out of here. The next time I re-upped with them, I said, I'm going to work on hiring a team. So I want to walk out with an organizational design. I want to walk out knowing who my next hire is going to be and how much I'm going to pay them. And I set that intention. It's about setting the intention of what are you going to do in there. And if anything didn't relate to that, I would listen to it. I would take the notes, but I would still be doing the work on the particular objective that I had.
That is such good advice. At the end of Girlfriends in Business, I actually didn't know what to expect really. So it overwhelmed in a good way, but I literally could not sleep until 3 a.m. and had to write everything down. So I had like a hangover of just information. And we do have to wind down, and I have one more question before we end and we share about all of the awesome stuff you do. Because I work with people through their transitions, how do you feel like your personal style has played a role in your growth journey? And where are you at now?
Totally. So, I by default, I've always said I have like a lazy personal style in that, whatever I can throw on, the bare minimum I can put on and not have to think about it. I'm definitely someone who doesn't want to think about what they're wearing. And what I've gone through as a journey with my stylist and with others that I've talked to is that you don't have to put the effort in, but you can still look polished without feeling like you're trying too hard. I'm definitely a self-conscious person where if I look like I'm trying too hard, I get like kind of scared someone's going to say something. Like it's always that comment that like, oh, you look nice today. It was like, because it's an exception.
Yeah.
And I
Mhm.
always say, you know what, there's nothing wrong with deciding to present yourself the way you want to on any given day
Yeah.
and having that change from time to time. But also I'd say my personal style has uplifted the way I show up with confidence. It has helped me, it's kind of helped me get out there more. It definitely is an outward projection of what builds up inside. And to your point earlier, um, you come in going, I want to look nice. And then you leave going, I am a whole different person on the inside who now I just dress that person. And it's a really cool feeling.
I love that. And right now, the ease in fashion makes it so much easier because you can dress things up that are more casual and relaxed. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today. It has been wonderful to hear everything you have to share with the world and the work that you're doing. Can you share with us where we can find you on Instagram and also your website?
Sure. So if you want to interact with me on Instagram, I'm at Shannon K. Weinstein. You can also find the podcast at Keep What You Earn. You'll find all of us there, everything we got going on. And you can go to keepwhatyouearn.com for the podcast and keepwhatyouearncfo.com for CFO services. So Google Keep What You Earn, you'll find everything basically.
And everything will be in the show notes so you can easily click on it and find her information. Thank you.